Okay, I'd like to call the regular meeting of the City Council of San Juan Bautista Tuesday, May 1st to order. Everyone will rise and pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Chris, roll call, please.
Mayor Bach,
Here.
Vice Mayor Moore,
Here.
Councilmember Edge,
Here.
Councilmember Cozio,
Here.
Councilmember Lund.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay. First thing I want to do, I'm going to call for public comment on items not on the agenda, but just in case there's a lot of people here, I'm going to entertain a motion to table item 5G, which is the fire protection agreement with Hollister. There's been some changes to it, and we're going to have a special city council meeting after it's revised. So I didn't want to waste everybody's time if that's what you were here for, or the only thing you were here for. So
I'll make a motion, Mr. Mayor, remove item 5G from the tonight's agenda.
have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Now, moving on, public comments on items not on the agenda. Speaker card?
Vanity Bear, is that item not on the agenda? Right. Okay.
Hi, Vandicky Bear, 5 Donner Street. I would like to read a letter, and after the letter, I'd like to make my own comments, so I might need 6 minutes. Okay, this letter was received by Tony Bach, and it was received by the Historical Society. The letter begins, I am the current national convener for the Heritage Roses Group. Knowing that San Juan Bautista is a city with a solid grasp on the significance and importance of its history, I and others have long been concerned that one aspect of your history has been overlooked and is in grave danger of being lost irretrievably. We're impressed by the expansion of your historic city walking tour, and I've enjoyed learning more about your older structures and their history. But as I travel around San Juan Bautista, which I periodically do, I see your horticultural history slipping away. Did you know that San Juan Bautista is a significant site for discovery and preservation of historic roses? People come from around the state and from other countries to see the more significant old roses of San Juan Bautista, and the terribly sad thing is that those roses are endangered. A friend who surveyed old roses in California 30 to 40 years ago tells me that there were at that time more than twice the number of roses in the old Campo Santo alone. Significant roses have disappeared from private property. That is, of course, at the discretion of the property owners. Regrettable, but beyond anyone's control. Yet the roses of your historic hillside Campo Santo are perhaps most endangered. Some of the roses that we mapped in that place a decade ago are now gone. Drought and time take their toll, and little can be done about that. But the greatest current danger to the living history in that cemetery is the blow-and-go gardeners who became active there in the last few years. Their misguided efforts do more harm with every visit. One of the most disturbing examples of this harm is the magnificent cream-white tea rose, not a hybrid tea rose, which has grown for more than a century near the mid-19th century grave of young Jesse Hildreth. When we first saw Jesse Hildreth's rose, it had 2 main trunks, or main canes. Healthy foliage and fragrant blooms formed an unforgettable canopy. Several years ago, one cane was lost, but the remaining cane continued to beautify the area, and new canes were beginning to push up from the old roots. Enter the gardeners. Apparently thinking of the old roses as a standard or tree rose, they have removed every attempt the plant made at growing new canes. As if that weren't trouble enough, the recent addition of a new burial at the foot of the plant cut away half of its roots. The rose is still living at this time, but it may not survive long. As a precaution, a young plant grown from it is now growing at the historic rose garden of the old Sacramento City Cemetery. and one will soon be added to the world-famous San Jose Heritage Rose Garden. But what a pity it will be for San Juan Bautista to lose this unique cultivar. How much better it would be if people could continue to enjoy its beauty and that of other roses there in their original setting. Surely, if nothing else can be done, the gardeners could refrain from doing further harm to this and other historic roses there. Someone surely must direct them and pay them, and I cannot believe that destruction was the original intent. The Heritage Rose community stands ready to help. One outstanding rosarian, Jill Perry, curator of the collection, San Jose Heritage Rose Garden, currently does an annual rose tour of the San Juan Bautista Cemetery. Perhaps the town can play a larger part in this and other such efforts. And then she goes on to describe how in Isaac Mylar's early days at San Juan Bautista, Mission San Juan Bautista, he tells the tale of a woman who would gather the roses and plant them, and on and on. And anyway, my comments now, I'm here as not only a concerned resident of town, but as the chair of the Historic Resources Board. Lately, our focus has been on the preservation of historic structures, and I think that the preservation of our historic roses are equally important. They really add a rich fabric to our cultural heritage. I know that there are I know of at least 2 master gardeners here in town, and one of them suggested that with some background we might be able to make this a project area where master gardeners could earn hours toward their annual volunteer hours requirement for maintaining their certification. Jerry identified in her letter Jill Perry, who does the annual rose tour, and Jill communicated with me and told me that there's a new resident, relatively new resident, 1-year resident in town, who is a rosarian herself, and she maintains the roses at Zanetta House, I believe. So she's knowledgeable and experienced, and she's been very enthusiastic about interest in this project. So I think those 2 women talked about possibly creating a grid identifying the historic roses in the cemetery, and then perhaps holding a workshop to inform the staff and volunteers who would like to be interested, would be able to help. So I'd like, I don't know what the next step is, but I'd like to be involved in this, and I'd like to come to the district cemetery district meeting. I don't even know when they are. But I hope the city council would be interested in this and would support efforts to maintain the roses as they should be maintained. Thank you.
Any other?
No, just speaker first.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
may I ask a question? to
Yes.
The speaker?
Can we have one more speaker for this? Yeah. She's new in town.
Can I ask you first, Vanda? Do you know Jim Slesnick? He's
Yeah.
also a master
Yeah.
gardener. Is
Yeah.
he one of the people you're
Yeah.
on?
yeah.
Okay.
I didn't want to mention
Just wanted to make sure, that's all.
This is one of the women I mentioned.
My name is Lauren Kehoe Ross.
And your address?
And my address is 537 Anzar Road in San Juan Bautista. I'm returning to California. I've been in Florida. I'm a retired judicial commissioner from the San Mateo Superior Court. And one of the reasons that I came to San Juan Bautista was because of the roses. This, believe it or not, is a mecca for roses. And they're really our living link to history. Some of the roses that are in the cemetery go back to before the Civil War. They were there just like the giant redwoods. And so I'm here to offer my services, whatever I can do to be of help, to save the roses and to make sure that they're here for future generations. So thank you very much, and I'm very happy to be here in San Juan Bautista.
Thank you. If you guys would leave your name and phone number with me, and then I'll let you know when you can get together with the supervisor up at the cemetery. Okay? Thank you.
You know the supervisor at the cemetery?
Yeah, I have. Sure. I didn't want to admit it. I have more than one job. Okay. Presentations, informational items, and reports. And there is a recognition. And who is going to?
Ernest Franco.
Ernie? Yeah, please.
Mayor Bach, members of the City Council. The Planning Commission has implemented a new program to recognize business owners that have made significant improvements to their properties in commercial areas that enhance and maintain the overall area and to help attract visitors to our city. the guidelines of the Secretary of the Interior standards for the treatment of historic properties, which, quote, are intended to promote responsible preservation practices that help protect our nation's irreplaceable cultural resources. Now, in these difficult economic times, we need to maintain our spirit as a community and as we weather this storm. As business owners that help our citizens see that there is hope for economic recovery, in this case, actions speak louder than words. Specifically, the preservation and rehabilitation and restoring of the historic property at 215 and 217 3rd Street in San Juan Bautista. Now, on the recommendation of the Historic Resources Board, the Planning Commission unanimously selected Mr. Ron and Amy Polk, who own that property, for the work that they did. I'd like to, for the council, and we wanted to do it before the council because we feel this is a significant thing way beyond our pay grade, but so people see that this is a serious city about supporting business. I'd like to ask Mr. and Mrs. Polk to come up. And if you stand right here, I'd like to read what the Planning Commission said about you. Whereas the function of the City Planning Commission is to guide and maintain the orderly development of the city, and in the process recognize the efforts of individuals in implementing the policies of the city as listed in the city's general plan and other policy documents. And whereas the San Juan Bautista Planning Commission has implemented a new program to recognize business owners that have made significant improvements to their properties in commercial areas that enhance and maintain the overall area and help attract visitors to the city. And whereas in difficult economic times, when the need to maintain community spirit, certain business people see that there is hope for economic recovery for the city and take action to make it happen. And whereas the month of May is National Preservation Month, and the city of San Juan Bautista supports the Secretary of the Interior standards for the treatment of historic properties, which are, quote, intended to promote responsible preservation practices that help protect our nation's irreplaceable cultural resources. And whereas the Planning Commission wishes to recognize a business owner that has acted voluntarily to exemplify the city's goals and efforts to maintain its historical ambiance and the structures that make it so by preserving the structures at 215 and 217 3rd Street in accordance with the following city policies. 1, you upgraded the entire structure, maintaining its historic influence in the city. You extended the economic life of the building while maintaining its exterior facade to keep the Old West feeling that the residents are accustomed to and visitors expect to see. Then you engaged in this reuse of historic materials, used local craftsmen to carry out this work, you complied with the requisite city regulations, and used rehabilitated structure to house local businesses. Now therefore be resolved that its meeting on May 7, 2013, the Planning Commission of the City of San Juan Bautista, on behalf of the citizens of San Juan Bautista, acted to recognize the efforts of Ron and Alma Polk in improving the commercial area of the city through their preservation of efforts to the building at 215 and 217 3rd Street, and thank them for being involved citizens. And signed, Ernest Franco, Chairman, San Juan Bautista Planning Commission. With that, I'd like to present this to you in front of the City Council, and I'd like to thank you very much for what you've done for us.
Building that is. Oh, okay. Thank you. Ernie, one other thing. Can I call on you to read all the proclamations from now on? You did a great job. I stuttered through them. You know?
It'd be an honor to have the service to the city.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I would just like to personally recognize you. I've been watching what you've been doing with that building for how many years now?
5, 6.
9. 9. And it took you the first 3 or 4 before you were even able to open your business, didn't it? It was 6? Oh my goodness, even longer than I thought. And we do notice and appreciate what you've done there.
Okay. Any other presentations? Nothing? Okay, moving on to 3A, National Preservation Month. Huh?
3B.
Oh, that was, it says one. Okay. Okay, B, presentation by San Juan Committee, Kim Batista.
Hello, my name is Kim Batista, and I wanted to thank you all for giving us a few minutes on your agenda tonight to let you know what we've been up to and what we have planned for the future. I'm here with Helena Kleinsmith and Richard Ponce, who are both members of the San Juan Committee, and Debbie Taylor, who is the President and CEO of the San Benito County Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Bureau. We are an all-volunteer nonprofit committee functioning under the umbrella of the San Benito County Chamber of Commerce. Our mission statement is to promote economic development while maintaining the historical character and charm of San Juan Bautista. We formed as a group in May of 2011 because we realized that without a Chamber of Commerce in our city, there was a need to support our merchant base and carry on where they left off and help fulfill the needs of the community. Our goals are to uphold our mission statement and to reunify our merchant base to create a feeling of a downtown association once again for our merchants, and to provide our merchants a forum to make suggestions and voice their concerns and help them be more informed about decisions that affect their businesses. We feel that we've made a tremendous amount of progress in the last 2 years, which we'd like to share with you. All of the money that we raise as a committee goes right back into our community to uphold our mission statement and to promote the city of San Juan Bautista. A quick overview of our first 2 years. We've had several fundraising events, including 2 very successful crab feed dinner dances at the Casa Maria. We did the Fall Fair in October of 2011. We've partnered for the past 2 years with Gold Coast Rods with their car show, where we included our merchant base by organizing the poker walk, collecting raffle prizes, and merchant sponsors. In December, we successfully partnered with the state park to hold our first annual holiday stroll through time, where we brought back a very old San Juan tradition with the tree lighting in the state park orchard, which was amazing. We encouraged shopping in United Merchants by incorporating the holiday event with the Merchant Open House, and we did a program where we had listed all of the merchants that were going to be open that evening so that people could stop by. There was a little map, and the merchants had special treats for the visitors that were coming in. The merchants also united by decorating in uniform fashion with twinkly lights and red bows and green garland, and it was really nice to see that walking down the main street. The state park was so pleased with the event that they contacted us afterwards to let us know that they hope that we continue it in the future and that they want to be more involved in the next one, which was also very nice. For the past 2 years, we have sponsored the annual Community Halloween Block Party, which is an awesome event for the kids to come to. It gives them a safe, fun place to go on Halloween, and it's a feel-good, warm, fuzzy event for us. The San Juan Committee and the San Benito County Chamber have beautifully advertised the city of San Juan Bautista in 3 issues of Wine and Travel magazine, which I have the latest issue here that I'll leave for you guys, which we were able to underwrite through our fundraising efforts, which was also very nice. For the past 20 months, the San Juan Star newspaper has published our committee's monthly feature article as a service to our community. In it, we recap our efforts and goals and report information pertinent to our merchant base, gained in our bi-monthly meetings with Roger Grimsley, our city manager, and Debbie Taylor, the San Benito County Chamber of Commerce president and CEO, who regularly attend our bi-monthly meetings. We co-sponsored the gorgeous posters that are hanging on the wall here with the city of San Juan Bautista, and they are located in 20 rest stop locations within a 200-mile radius along Highway 101. We created an annual sponsorship where the San Juan Committee sponsors and pays for 1 full year of Chamber of Commerce membership for a small business in San Juan Bautista, so that we can encourage businesses to join and be part of the San Benito County Chamber of Commerce. Our first recipient was the San Juan Bakery, and we're currently working on our second recipient. We donated money to the San Juan Little League to replace equipment after the snack shack and the score booth was burglarized. We also donated money to the Easter Parade to help with that. We sponsored April's Chamber of Commerce Lunch with Leaders, where our city manager, Roger Grimsley, was our guest speaker. The San Juan Committee hosted a business after-hours mixer at the San Juan Bakery last summer. We held a public meeting in July of 2011 at the St. Francis Retreat to gather information from nonprofit leaders so that we could all work together as a community. We held another public meeting in January of 2012 to introduce the San Juan Committee to the community and to let everyone know who we are and what we were planning for the future. 2 members of our committee, myself and Richard Ponce, are members of the San Benito County Chamber Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, where we're able to make sure that the city of San Juan Bautista is represented and included. We created a social media Facebook called Treasures of San Juan Bautista, where we can promote events and businesses, and our updates currently go out to over 1,000 people on that page. And the city of San Juan Bautista is also strongly represented on the San Benito County Chamber website. Just real quick, I wanted to go over our plans for the future, which include our ongoing effort to inform and include new and existing merchants of all of the upcoming promotional opportunities, including events, co-op advertisements, and workshops. We will continue our efforts to be a catalyst for positive change and for a friendly atmosphere and a feeling of unity, and work towards eliminating problematic situations before they escalate. For instance, Roger has asked the San Juan Committee to hold a public meeting to inform the merchants about the provisions of the sign ordinance, and to make sure that they know that the ordinance is in its draft form and that they're encouraged to make suggestions and let their voice be heard before it's finalized. We are very excited to be working with Ruben Mendoza and the Mission to protect a cutting of the very last pear tree that stood behind the Mission on the Rodeo grounds. The tree was vandalized and destroyed, and Richard Ponce was able to save one of the shoots from the tree, and it has since been grafted, and we're happy to say that it's flourishing. And the San Juan Committee has adopted the tree, and we're working to coordinate a safe and protected location in the near future on the Mission grounds, where its history can be enjoyed by the visitors and our community. Other plans for the near future is to continue to develop a thoughtful and consistent advertising effort to promote the city, and to continue to encourage and invite other city-based nonprofit organizations to join us in our efforts to promote our city and encourage their individual efforts in servicing our community. We're very interested and willing to support the restoration of the old brewery, and we are planning on being involved in any future expansion or creation of a new San Juan museum. As we look towards our future, we are very committed to preserving our past. We're aware that we're on the verge of a tourism boost with the establishment of the Pinnacles as a national park, and we're very excited about the opportunity to work together with the city and the county to maintain our heritage and to continue the preservation and restoration of our beautiful city of history. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Jolene.
Kim, I had a couple of questions for you, if you could come back up. I just wanted to ask, and first I want to say the city appreciates all that you're doing, and I think you must be making an impact, because it sure seems like there's a lot more people coming into the city, and I wasn't aware of some of the social media things that you've been doing. I actually thought the individual businesses were doing more of that, but maybe it's what you're doing that seems to be bringing
Possibly.
more people in.
Joint
but
effort.
Huh?
Joint effort.
Yeah, I did want to ask about the visitor center. There doesn't seem to be anybody working in there.
There isn't at this moment, but we have a new person coming on board with the chamber that is going to chair the visitors. Is going to chair the visitors committee for the visitors bureau, and so we're hoping to change that. That will be changed soon.
Yeah, because it's not even getting stocked with
It is getting
magazines and
stocked.
stuff. Oh, it is? Okay, last time I was in there, it was
stocked it
not.
about a week and a half ago,
Oh.
and then Debbie came and stocked
Yeah.
it last week. So we are.
Okay, it's been a few weeks since I was in there, but last time it was
We
not
did take
well
a bunch
stocked.
of stuff over it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And then the other question was, are you planning on like having a booth downtown during some of the festivals and that sort of thing, like the city chamber used to do? They sold T-shirts and that sort of thing. Is there any possibility of that coming back?
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we can talk about that, depending on which,
I don't know if you have any merchandise to
We
sell
do. We
anymore.
have a few things that we can sell. We have some pictures of old San Juan. We have
Yeah, it
wine
just seems-
glasses and T-shirts and
Yeah.
yeah.
It seems like it might be a...
Oh, good. And we're on the schedule for the flea market.
Excellent, good. And I just wanted to share one comment that a business owner made to me when I was in the bank the other day, because I loved her attitude. It was, she stated she's happy for any event in downtown San Juan, because even if a certain type of festival does not bring her more business, it might bring her next door neighbor more business, or some of the other types of stores or restaurants.
Right.
And the next festival might be more of a type that suits her and brings her business. So I just really enjoyed that attitude of not worrying about, okay, the restaurants might have not have done great during the rib festival because they're restaurants and it's a rib festival. But some of the other types of stores did really well because there were people in
And we're seeing more
town.
of that unity out there, which
Yeah.
is what we're encouraging. It's really nice.
Good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on.
Mr. Mayor, just before, I'd really like to thank Kim and Helene and Richard and Debbie. They did a remarkable job. They were just tireless and everything. And Debbie comes from Hollister and the Senator comes to and she just exudes a lot of energy. And we're really thankful that she's been helping us.
It seems to be paying off.
Yes.
Thank you.
Would you like to come up to this podium?
No, the lady behind you had something.
I'd like to hire her to represent me. All of them were great. I'm from Shellsville, Brown Brass, and actually not really, I don't have any notes or anything. I was just summoned here to answer questions about the farmer's market.
Oh, okay, that's not on
That's just an item further down on the... Okay, I didn't know where I fit on there, but I'd just like to give you these things to look over, and so if there are any questions, then you'll have an idea of who we are.
Okay.
Okay. Is that it?
Several things.
By the way, I didn't say anything, Vic, but we do appreciate everything you're doing, and
Sure.
Is there one for each of us?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
they've been there before. I've seen their stuff.
moving on. 3C, monthly financial statements. And Chuck isn't here. Roger?
He said he probably would not be able to make it. I got that message this afternoon.
Is any questions or anything on that?
I did have a couple of questions. I don't know, Roger, if you can answer these, but on the treasurer's report on the front page, enterprise funds year-to-date results are a loss of $1,000 as compared to the prior year loss of $14,000. The variance is due primarily to lower utility revenue?
Yes.
Is that the loss of the septic haulers?
Well, that was about a $20,000 hit, yes,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But generally, the water and sewage usage has been going down.
Really?
Yeah.
Water conservation?
Yeah,
or-
water conservation and the efficient toilets and stuff. So,
So our overages were more or less.
yeah.
I had a question on the same thing because,
Were you done?
Yeah, go ahead.
oh,
I'm
because
looking
it,
for my next point.
yeah, if you want to go back to your next point.
No, no.
Well, while we're on this one, it says a loss of 1,000 compared with a loss of 14,000. That sounds a little better, not,
It's better than it was
worse.
last year, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. No question about it.
yeah.
But our revenues are still down.
They're still down.
Compared to what we've projected, yeah.
And that 20,000, I noticed that last month, but that is only what we took in. That doesn't include expenses, so we weren't actually making 20,000, right?
That was the discharge and dumping fees from the
Right,
septic.
but then we get a lot of costs from Bracewell when they come in, too. I
Yeah.
thought the bottom line was like we only made 7,000.
Well,
not
he was
actually.
charging a certain amount to process it, and then the fees would generate about $20,000 plus, and he would end up with a $10 per discharge fee, and so we weren't making as much because there was some administrative
Yeah.
chores that they had to do to keep records.
Yeah, that wasn't all profit, that was gross.
Yeah, it's all profit.
Yeah.
No, I think that was it.
Any questions on the warrant list? I don't think I
Yeah,
have them.
that was it.
And the warrants list, we just know that there was one large item there that I'd like to clarify, and that is part of Bracewell's bill. This month's bill was extremely high because we've been working on this supplemental environmental project, this SEP program that we have to complete by September, October, and there's some additional costs that he had to do, writing a report, amending it, and the state came back, the Department of Public Health, and said that even though they had reviewed it before, they says they didn't want to review it, and now they're charging us an administrative fee to review that, which is going to be about $4,000.
The state is charging us that?
State, yeah.
Get a lot of nerve. They fine us and then they charge us for...
Yeah.
Somebody doesn't have anything to do, so they're going to review it again.
Okay, anything else on the financial report? Statement.
I had one on the warrant,
Great.
Mr. Mayor. The back page, are those all fire department?
Stipends for the fire department.
Okay, because I was just surprised by one, and maybe I should know him because he seems to be working so much. The one that got 645. They can actually work that many hours to get that, or was he getting two checks or something?
He's been responding pretty much to everyone and available, yeah.
Have to get to know him and thank him, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Library report.
Yeah, it's on the back page right there.
Any questions or comments? Fire chief's report. I know
John wasn't able to make tonight's meeting, but he gave us this report. There was 15 calls, and then he broke it down into the number in San Juan Bautista in the county, and basically it's a combination of majority of them been in in San Juan and the county right around the area here.
It was slow month.
yeah, slow month, yeah. Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
are we in the time period where there are absolutely no burn permits issued in the city now?
far as I know.
That should be coming up the day.
It was May 1st.
Yeah, I thought they did it early this year.
Yeah, earlier this year. Yeah, yeah, and all burn permits have to go to still CDF, and after July 1st, then they will be processed to the city of Hollister.
Oh, so they can still get a burn permit
For agricultural purposes.
for agriculture, but not in the city?
No,
Yeah.
like they haven't let us burn in. Something about the school. I don't know what it is.
Well, I think we still issue burn permits up until May 1st, don't we? The city does issue burn permits
We have not issued anything since May 1st, no.
since May 1st, but
Yeah.
the city does during
Yeah,
the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Item F, Sheriff's Report. I think that's, we don't have
Good
any.
evening. I do not have a written report. We're still having growing pains on
These are
new
the stipends,
computer
and the
data
warrant
system.
list is monthly bills.
But
That's what monthly
we have
bills.
had a rash of theft from vehicles. And we've had
They didn't put it
residential
on?
burglary. And we had a
No.
unbelievable attendance in Neighborhood Watch
Look on the
yesterday.
other
Two of the mayor and council member were there. And hopefully, there's resources among those citizens that we're going to be able to put together an effective Neighborhood Watch. In addition, I've talked with Trish about establishing a website.
Oh, okay.
And we're kind of trying to figure that out, where I would be able to get daily information and then transfer it to that could be viewed by the citizens. Are there any questions?
Any questions? Go ahead.
I had one as a result of the meeting last night. I believe you said a person was picked up in relation, possibly in relation to all the robberies, but definitely in relation to one house burglary. I mean, not robbery, all the burglaries, but in relation to one. Was it only one person picked up? Because
Yes.
I thought I had heard some of the people who were out that night or awake that night that they saw two people. Was I mistaken on that?
I have no idea. There was a lot of information last
Oh.
night. We've only picked up one person.
There was only one person, yeah. I just thought of that after the meeting. I thought, wait a minute, I thought there was two. Is there only one? Thank you.
Any other questions for Rich? Okay. Thank you. Item G, Public Works Report, City Manager Grimsley.
Yes, I combined all three reports into one this month. Public Works, again, we're moving forward on the SEP program and the reclamation and getting that going. We're out to bid on the Phase 1. That'll be later on in the agenda. And we've started to advertise on the Phase 2, which is the swing elbow installation at each one of the sites. Code enforcement, we just kind of put in the back burner this last month because of preparing the fiscal budget, fire contract and agreement, and in our SEP program we've been kind of busy. Planners, the Planning Commission reviewed the initial study for the reconstruction rehabilitation of the old brewery building and instructed the staff to commence on the preparation and circulation of a mitigated and negative declaration. The project is moving forward through the Historical Resources Board and the Planning Commission. We'll keep you posted on how that's progressing. Planning Commission is completing the final draft of the revised sign ordinance and will be holding public hearings for input from the residents, citizens, and the business owners. From my report, work is continuing on the contract with the City of Hollister's Fire Service. John Fox, Chris, and I have met with the fire chief from Hollister, and we're ironing out some of the details. We're probably going to be meeting tomorrow and Thursday to there, and then we will bring this back to you at probably a special meeting shortly. Plans for the fire station expansion are on hold until we complete that contract, and then we can initiate construction. Any other questions?
And you do have the bids in for the pipeline?
Yes.
Which I guess I don't know if everybody saw them.
Yeah, and they will be on your agenda down under 5C.
And I did notice the hot tub was gone.
Yeah,
Yep.
I drove by, saw that. It was not there.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I asked you this the other day, and you said that you thought Trish had sent them to the printer or something. Can I ask Trish about the ticket books?
Yes, pending tonight's resolution adopting the fees, then we will be letting them know to print the ticket books up at the
Okay.
new fee. Yeah.
So they haven't gone out?
Yeah,
until
they
we-
haven't gone out.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. Item K, public meetings and committee reports. Jolene?
Let's see. AMBAG is still working on refining the numbers for the 2012 Regional Growth Forecast for 2035 for the entire Tri-County area. That's AMBAG's area is Santa Cruz, San Benito, and Monterey counties. The AMBAG staff will be working with our city manager for San Juan Bautista's forecast of population and housing. Caltrans was at our last AMBAG meeting, and they gave a list of their construction projects and the construction timeline for the 6-lane Superhighway 156 is for, to begin in the fall of 2015 and go until the fall of 2017. They did mention that there is a lawsuit trying to stop it, and the next hearing date for the Save San Juan Valley lawsuit to attempt to redesign the highway, not really stop it, but redesign it, is May 29th, according to Caltrans. And I'm not sure if that's the correct date or not, but that's what Caltrans had as the next hearing date for that, the lawsuit to redesign Highway 156 rather than make a 6-lane superhighway, or really it's a 4-lane superhighway and a 2-lane frontage road. The workshops for the 2014 Metropolitan Transportation Plan and Sustainable Community Strategy have been ongoing. I went to the one on May 14th in Hollister. They're called Moving Forward Monterey Bay Region, and they're to engage local residents in transportation planning for the future. I handed out a couple of pamphlets to people I thought might be interested. There's a couple more there if anybody wants to take the survey online. By 2035, it is predicted that another 150,000 people will live in the AMBAG region, so it is important to plan where these people might live, work, and play.
Done? Andy?
Fire, the intergovernment and water did meet, but nothing really pertaining, nothing new, unless Robert
Pretty much,
wants to chime in.
yeah,
You know,
everything's been kind of going around for the contract, and then we'll meet again to make any adjustments after that.
Rick?
The Strategic Plan Committee met last week. We're meeting once a month now on the second Tuesday. Hard at work on mission statement, vision statement, utilization of the historic plan, and that the city already has in effect, and just working away.
Good.
I have a public comment on the strategic plan, Bob Reed.
Bob Reed, 1133 Salinas Road, in San Juan Star. I think it was about a year ago that I had brought the historic San Juan plan to the attention of the City Council. And since that time, it has occurred to me the relevance of that document. And I've come to believe that it is the strategic plan that was adopted in February of 2002. And I don't think the City Council is aware of that document for that use. And being on the Strategic Planning Committee, I think it would be helpful to know the status of that document, if that is an existing strategic plan to implement the general plan that was in effect at that time, or is in fact now, rather than being in a position where we have been asked by the City Council to create a new strategic plan. I think some clarity would be helpful from the Council.
Rick, you want to respond to that?
Yeah.
Yes?
We created a strategic planning committee, not to rewrite the historic the San Juan Bautista historic plan, but more to implement it, I think. I mean, what's that?
More kind of enhance it.
Enhance it, bring it up to date. I mean, it was passed in 2002. I wasn't even familiar with it until it was brought up to me by a couple of the members of the strategic plan, and I try to read the important documents, but obviously I haven't read them all because I hadn't read that one, and I still haven't finished it, but I have begun wading through it, and I can see that it is a basis for a strategic plan, or it appears to me to be, and so when we created the Strategic Planning Committee, were we really trying to write a document, or were we trying to implement a document? I guess that's up to you and the strategic plan to figure out. Strategic Planning
Yeah,
Committee?
we'll leave
I mean,
that
it's
up.
not really strategic plan, it's Strategic Planning Committee, right?
Yeah.
Is the name of the committee.
No, Strategic Plan Committee.
Oh, it is Strategic Plan Committee,
Yeah.
not planning.
Has the committee established a purpose and intent and direction of what they're going to accomplish?
I thought our intent was to come up with a plan, and so we're moving in that direction, but
And recognizing that the historical thing had been adopted, but it's never been labeled a strategic plan, so it's going to be part of your plan, and how we're going to implement it.
well, that's up to the committee. But in looking at the plan now, I had read it when it first was adopted, but didn't, look at it as a strategic plan. But when we look at it now, some of us feel that it might fit the mold of a strategic plan. And so rather than reinvent the wheel, some people are thinking we should look at this and see what needs to be changed, or can we let most of it stand, and so forth. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And I think what Bob is saying is he wants clarification from the council, but I don't think we're that familiar with the historical plan to where we could say, oh, well, we wanted you to do this, because most of us had forgotten it was around.
Yeah.
Who was on was the planning commission adopt that, or did the city council adopt that?
Well, I think the city council adopted it, and they're the ones that contracted with RVF to do it.
We have to go back to the minutes.
Yeah.
Hey, Robert?
I didn't get a chance to read through it, and I don't know if we're pretty much, I'm not up to speed with it.
Yeah. How about your rally committee?
Oh, the rally committee for that? We didn't meet last Tuesday. We had the meeting here. Or it was for that. Other than that, the other two committees, intergovernment and the fire committee, were pretty much on hold until we're finished up with the contract here. So we'll be meeting next week. Is it next week, Andy?
Fire? I'm not, I've got the date.
Fire meeting next week, the 28th.
Subcommittee or the meeting to go over the fire agreement?
The subcommittee.
Subcommittee, that's going to be the first Thursday of the
Okay, so that'll
June.
to June. But we're going to have the one 28th, and then that one meeting that we're going to have for this one, we haven't set a date for yet.
On the, Robert, can I ask you one thing? On the rally committee thing, you're meeting with the people in Hollister, is that correct?
Yeah, it's just an
And-
informational meeting that's on
Right.
Tuesday nights.
Well, that's what I'm curious about is, are there any plans for law enforcement as far as San Juan's concerned, the spillover from this rally that they're holding?
Rogers met with Darren on the,
Yeah,
with
we
that
met
one.
with them, and,
but they have not anything for San Juan.
Okay.
Other than what we have
Right.
already
in other words, we're on our own.
They did talk with Highway Patrol, and they were going to try to make attempts to frequently drive through when they can, but nothing increasing.
Okay. Okay, and COG meeting was last Thursday. There was a proposal to change the dial-a-ride system to utilize taxi cabs, which are both in Hollister. The cab company that's based here in San Juan did not bid on it, but it came out that the way they had proposed the fares, see, right now, if you dial-a-ride works from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you call them, they can set a time, or you can set a time for them to pick you up, and it costs, the fares range from $2 to $1.25, depending. But the way they were going to change it to the taxi thing was that it would actually cost a San Juan resident a total of $18 to get a taxi ride to Hollister. I made the comment that I would not pay $18 to go to Hollister if, for any reason. But, so we dropped that, it was put aside, and there's going to be a subcommittee of myself and Victor Gomez from the Hollister City Council to try to figure this out, that we just cannot, I'd rather see the dial ride stay the way it is. This whole thing is trying to save money, but, and the only thing about the taxi was it would be available 24 hours a day. So anyways, if anybody hears anything about the fares going up drastically from San Juan to Hollister, don't worry about it right now. So
What's the cost on dial-a-ride currently?
$2. Well, $2. Some people get it for $1.25, and I think that might be students or.
So it's about $2 now, and they're talking about it going to 18?
Right.
Tony, any idea what the Hollister taxi people, the commercial taxi people charge for that trip?
That's these people, but the way they had it set up, and really the cab companies, they didn't set the fare, and it was going to be, I don't know who determined it, somebody in, in COG administration, that you would use a $2 voucher. See, to get dollar ride, you have to go over there and get these vouchers, and you would use a $2 voucher and then make up the difference, which they calculated to be $16. And,
Wow.
But the thing you can do in Hollister, if you live in Hollister and say you want to go to Safeway, you call Dial-A-Ride, they'll pick you up, you give them the $2 voucher, and then COG funds make up, give the taxi cab company an additional $8 for a total of $10 for your ride to Safeway. Now, how they arrived at what they were going to charge San Juan, I have no idea, but both Anthony and I said, hey, you got to really think about that. That you just can't. I mean, why should a person in Hollister get to take a taxi ride for basically $2 versus, it's kind of like discriminating against San Juan. But again, like I say,
If a San Juan resident asks for a dial ride in town here and pick up and take them
Right.
down to Windward Market, it would be the same.
right, they just
It would be
turn in their
$2
$2 voucher. Yeah,
But if you want to go to Hollister, then that's
yeah.
The additionals.
So,
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to mention on the taxi cab thing, just because it just happened to several of us who had gone to a car show. We were at the hotel in Atascadero, and we wanted to go down the street to a Mexican restaurant. Nobody wanted to drive their hot rods. We've been drinking. So we called
can't believe that.
We called taxi cabs. Every one of them was located in Paso Robles, not Atascadero, and wanted to charge us, I shouldn't say every one of them, because we finally found one that didn't. The first three I called all wanted either $20 or $25 just to come to Atascadero. And then they were going to charge us to go to the Mexican restaurant. We finally found one who, I guess, wasn't based in Paso Robles, was kind of a roamer, and he took a little longer, but he only charged us the $10 it took to get us down to the Mexican restaurant.
Wow.
So, so it is not that unusual for a more remote, smaller city, I guess, to have to pay higher fees. But this is a subsidized program, right? So that would make it different
That's
than the
correct.
taxi cabs. And Mr. Mayor, I also wanted to ask on this, your next intergovernmental committee meeting is on the 6th.
It'd be the first
I see.
Thursday of the...
First Thursday is the 6th, and our budget meeting is on the 5th. And I just wanted to mention that hopefully we would have the contract in hand by then, and we might be able to use that meeting to look at the budget, the fire contract, rather than have a whole bunch of special meetings, if possible. Just thought I'd throw that one out there.
okay, anything else? Moving on to consent items, does anybody want to, I want to pull H, the minutes from the March meeting. We don't have them.
And I want to pull C, D, and G.
What?
C, D, and G. Cat, dog, and goat.
Okay. Anybody else want to pull anything?
Move to approve A, B, E, F.
No, not E. She wanted to pull E, right?
No, C, D, and G.
I already did that. Oh, G.
Yeah,
Yeah, you pulled H.
you pulled H, yeah.
Okay. Motion to approve A, B,
E and F.
E, and F.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Going to C. Jolene?
Okay, the first item on the street closures is the California State Parks, which I don't really have a problem with them closing that little section of 2nd Street. But I just would like to put it on record that I'd like to ask, since we're cooperating with them and try to, why do the parks close their public restrooms every time the city has an event, even though the event provides their own porta potties? And why can't the garden on 4th Street be open to the public for picnics or whatever? I know they have opened it on occasion for certain types of things, and I just would like to see more cooperation from the state parks, because we'd like to cooperate with them, but we'd also like some reciprocation. We'd like them to cooperate with us. And I'm not saying we shouldn't pass this short little street closure that they want, but I would sure like to see a little better cooperation from the state parks on some of these things. And on the second one,
Wait. Is there any comment on,
oh, sorry.
Which park on 4th Street, or garden on 4th Street?
Oh, I'm sorry, Garden on 3rd Street. I
Third
said 3rd Street.
On 3rd, oh, you mean behind
orchard.
the hotel?
Yeah,
Okay.
behind the hotel.
Yes, okay.
It used to actually be a city park, I think.
Oh, really?
I'm told by some of the old timers that they used to go in there for
You're
picnics.
talking about the orchard lot?
Yeah,
orchard
the
lot.
yeah.
That's the orchard, oh, the orchard.
Wasn't that once open to the public?
That's what the old timers would say.
Yeah. Well, my husband's one of the old timers. He says he used to go in there for carry his little bag lunch and all that stuff when he was a kid.
my comment on that is, they have changed the superintendent or supervisor, whatever they call him, of this park. And, but I would like Roger to relay those comments. Especially, I don't understand why they only close the bathrooms when there's something going on in town. It doesn't make any sense. But
I'll bet I know why.
Well, and it's not just
A lot of people, if they have their choice between a regular restroom and a portable,
yeah. But when they close the porta potties, they also close that whole little park, so people can't even go in there and have picnics.
okay.
Because it's not just the bathrooms; it's a whole little park, and they close the gate.
All right. So D.
And on the next item is a street closure for a farmer's market. I am thrilled to
wait a
have a
minute.
farmer's market. Huh? I'm still on 4C.
Oh,
Street
4C.
closures.
Oh.
But there's several street closures on there. The second one is a street closure for,
And that would be on the 3rd Saturday of every month, starting in May and going all the way through until November.
yes. And I am thrilled to have a produce, a produce market, farmer's market, but I don't want to see any more junk down there like we saw last year. Item number 2 on their application says they're going to sell personal items. That is not a farmer's market. And any food that they sell should be, handmade goods like you see at most traditional farmer's market. I would love to see a traditional farmer's market in San Juan. I'd love to see it in the Orchard lot. They were on 3rd Street, and even instead of on the street, if that was ever allowed by the parks. But I do not want to go down there and find one strawberry grower and one flower grower, and the rest is selling what I consider to be junk items that you can get at any flea market.
Flea market, yeah.
So you want to have a,
I want it to be a farmer's market. And I want them to take out the section that says personal items under number 2. It says we're going to sell,
Yeah, farmers market produce, personal items, offered for sale, baked goods and food. So you want to strike the personal items
Yep.
and offered for sale?
yep,
Wait, let me get the comments from the council and I'll call. Anybody else? For that one? On that one? No. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Jean Charlotte from Michelle's Golden Brown Breads, and we're the ones who want to provide the farmers market. We were invited to the market, the other market. That's how we heard about it from Hollister, because we were in the Hollister market, and along with 40 other markets all the way up to from Modesto to Marin. The reason we put personal items, or I've forgotten how it was stated, but we were going to invite the local businesses to be involved in the market. We're not bringing people in to sell all kinds of personal items. We were just going to ask the local businesses, the food and any business that may want to become involved in the market, because I'm a promoter of farmers markets with vegetables and fruit.
wonderful.
And all our bread is made from fresh fruits and vegetables from the farmers market. So you won't have any problem with me about that.
Yeah, you have to understand, we had a farmer's market last year that was not really
I know,
a farmer's
we were
market.
in it, and we did very well with our bread, pies, cookies, scones, and brownies. So that's why we're here, because of that market. It was only like, what, 2 times or something like that?
It went on for quite a while, but it didn't go
Oh.
on as a farmer's market for very long.
No,
Because
I know.
it wasn't a farmer's market.
We were in it twice, but we really liked the town, and that's why we were interested in doing the farmers market here.
So you have actual produce vendors? that-
Oh, yes,
Right.
yes. In fact, we're in Tam Valley, or Mill Valley right now. We're doing a market, and we're across from the people from San Juan Bautista. I can't think of the name of the farm, but they're from here, and I was going to invite them first.
Like Swank Farms or one of those?
I don't remember the name. I just know the people when I see them, because we're right across from them.
I'm trying to figure out how you could restrict it without being discriminatory.
Well, I would
Well,
still...
No, I
You
mean,
can
unless
you
you
can
just
restrict
struck, just struck personal items and, and then if,
Like I said, the only reason we put that in there was because we intended to ask local businesses if they wanted to be involved in the farmers market. We weren't bringing people in to sell personal items.
You could
And I
say
didn't-
this is personal food-related items.
Yeah. It already has baked goods and food, though. I
Farmer-related
still
items.
think you could just cross out personal items, and
Right.
you'd have a farmer's market. To me, you would, because it would say farmer's market, produce, and baked goods and food offered for sale. And if, I don't know, I can't really picture a store. I know the stores sometimes put their goods out in front of their shop, but I don't see how they could man their store and have a booth at the farmer's market, too. I know restaurants do that sometimes, but not usually a dress store or something like that.
We were just going to invite them because we,
Yeah.
we want to be We don't want to come in and take over anybody's
Well-
space.
Why don't we do this? Limit it to, or scratch the personal items offered for sale and see how it works.
Okay.
I mean, what Jolene and I, and I'm sure all of us, we don't want to see, somebody's selling
pictures.
little things made in China and whatever.
No.
And that's what, I mean, a lot of these flea market type items are.
No.
So
We're,
if you want to try it like that,
A beer garden.
no, we're involved in farmers markets.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And
So
we're
if-
with the Pacific Coast organization. We're with California Farmers Market in South Bay, in Los Gatos and Willow Glen, and we're also in Zenados Market.
Well, I think it'd be acceptable, and then Jolene, you can police them.
I can police them. Yeah, I mean, it would prevent you from going to every store and saying, did you want to put your items over here? It would only be, I guess, if one of the restaurants wanted to put a few goodies, or the bakery or something
Yeah,
like
mainly
that.
it was the bakery because we wanted them
Yeah.
to feel involved.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they would fall under baked goods and food, so
Oh,
we wouldn't
yeah,
have to worry
yeah.
about taking out the personal items.
But as you see on our list, we make many different kinds of bread. So
Yeah.
we're not usually
Oh, yeah.
in competition with anybody else.
Yeah, your stuff
Okay.
is unusual. It looks good.
Are you
There
gonna-
there was no intersection closure there, right?
No.
No.
Okay, it's just that, all right.
And was that only for the third weekend, or was that every Saturday, or?
It says every Saturday in the
Yeah.
resolution.
I just thought I heard somebody say third week of the month. Okay.
The third every Saturday, yeah.
Oh,
Washington-
Second and Third Streets. is
Oh,
every-
okay.
Second
All
and
right.
Third Streets
I
every Saturday.
wanted to ask
Yeah.
you also, on the way in, I saw, I think it was San Juan Batista Days that you're
Oh,
having.
early days of San
Early
Juan?
days, yeah.
Yeah, that's the,
When does that start?
June 15th and 16th.
15th and 16th?
Mm-hmm.
It's
So
usually
if-
the first weekend of every month.
Yeah, it's just one weekend, the 15th and 16th of June.
Okay, so if we were to be able to start on the 10th, we wouldn't interfere with that?
Their closure is up on Second Street.
Yeah.
it's on this street right here.
Second Street between Washington and
Yeah,
Mariposa.
I
different
think
It's
they'd
not
be
on,
all right
it's not on
with
the
that.
same street you're on.
I mean, I just didn't want to interfere with something that
No.
you have for...
If anything, it'll draw more people to yours, because they're going to be on Second, and you're going to be on Washington.
And that intersection, people will have to U-turn in, I guess.
Yeah, that's the one thing on for, Second there. If they're taking over the Washington Street there, we're going to probably have a problem with that street and them making a left, from Franklin on to Second.
Might as well close Second Street from Franklin.
Yeah.
Oh, on that day.
Yeah.
That would be for the park, not for this.
Yeah, it would just be
Right.
the one weekend.
But where their closure for the park are they closing it at Second to where they can make a left onto Washington, or are they closing Washington?
They probably anticipated that Washington would be open.
Yeah.
And-
They
and
didn't
if-
have any intersection closures either.
No intersection closures. So if she has Washington that same day, that's where we're going to have this
They'll
section
be
right
trying-
here that'll,
Yeah, traffic won't have anywhere to go.
yeah.
So, yeah,
Trish, could
you're
you
probably
relay
right. You're right
that
close
to
the
the
whole thing.
state park is that they might want to put the barricades down on Franklin and Second.
Yeah.
Then we're going to have a backup on Franklin.
No, because they can go down
Because
and make a
they'll-
U-turn
They
below
can
the...
go down and make a U-turn.
Below the,
At Franklin and Second.
Yeah, right. And if they bring the barricades
Not
back
at Franklin
about 20
Second, but
feet,
down below.
it could be a hammerhead where they could come out of there.
there's a big area to make a U-turn down below what used to be the fault line. They would just have to continue on Franklin and then go all the way down, make a U-turn and come back.
Maybe
Isn't
a
it
sign
still
would
the
say-
fault line?
Huh?
Isn't it still the fault line?
I don't know what it's called now. Is it still called the fault line?
I think
Oh.
Edie still lives
Still
there.
called the fault line. But yeah, you can still drive down there and make a U-turn down below
Or
it.
go down to New Bars, turn around.
Right, New Barrow,
front
11.
yard.
He won't mind.
There is one more thing now that you bring that up, though.
Edie won't mind
Before
either.
on the farmer's market, we did not allow them to close when there was an antique fair or any of the big Jeff Williams shows going on. Should we have that in there?
Yeah, we should put that there. If there's a street event, then you can't close.
Yeah. There will be a couple of dates that we have such big festivals that we won't be able to include the farmer's market unless you contract with whoever's doing the street fair. And Roger can get you those dates. I would say it would be the antique fair and what's the next, Jeff Williams? Arts and crafts?
That's the only one we have left.
The Rotary is the next one.
does the August one.
So we only have the big August one coming up?
Yeah.
So you would have to contact the Rotary on theirs on August 16th?
Something like that. I can't.
Something like that.
Well, we do fundraisers, so possibly we can,
Yeah.
know, give them some
Yeah, but,
money.
but when we do a big event like that, we allow them the whole city.
You're right,
So you have to work with them in order to
Okay.
be there on that
Okay.
day.
And
So we need to get that wording in there, too.
we do plan to bring, well, depending on the city's football choice, one of the old Raiders or 49ers in on that day, since it's our first market, maybe.
Oh, on your first, on the May 25th one?
The
On your first one?
25th? No.
Oh, sorry.
No, I have to allow time for people.
Okay, it says here May 25th, sorry.
Oh, that was from last time.
This is good.
That was from the last meeting you had.
Oh, okay.
But this one, I have to give people 2 weeks to get their permits.
So whenever you do your first show, you want to have a Raider signing.
Right, a Raiders or a 49ers, depending on the choice of the city.
Either one would probably work, I don't think.
We
the
plan to
city
do
would-
this. This is we've done farmers market for everybody else for a long time. We've been in business since 2007, and we had a storefront in Manteca in March, it was 2 years. And so this is ours, so we plan to do it right.
Okay.
So, we okay with that? Anybody else have any? Okay, and
Just
Tony?
scratch the no personal items.
Yes, yeah, that's all. I
No
want.
personal item,
Yeah,
nothing that's not food.
Saturday or Sunday?
food related,
It's a
yeah.
Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
produce, flowers,
Oh,
if
okay,
farmer's
yeah.
market includes flowers and all
Right.
sorts of things, but yeah. I don't
Well,
want to eat
I'll
myself.
get your card. I'll call you before I put anybody on the agenda.
Oh, I'm not that serious about
And
it.
then just to let her know that September 28th is a Saturday, and that is your next street closure for this double road that's on Second Street that starts up there. And so there might
Oh,
be
the
a conflict
September
on that.
September 28th road race?
Yeah, or the road race, the
So-
next one that's the street closure, that's on a Saturday.
So September 28th and August
And
something.
they will be occupying from 6 to 1.
Okay, so you're going to have to scratch July 18th
Okay.
and September
28th.
28th.
Why are we scratching July 18th?
That's the Rotary.
Antiques Fair.
Oh, antique, I thought it was August.
I'm sorry, August.
August 18th and
Okay.
September 28th.
Okay.
Unless you can work something out with the Rotary.
Okay.
Okay, got that one straight.
28, 28.
18, August 18th and
Ask
September
her
28th.
what she's going to do on 4th of July weekend.
What about the 6th of July? That'll be
That's
a
a-
4th of July weekend.
Well, when we sign up for the markets, we'll do the market. If you want us to do it.
We're
That wouldn't matter, would it? You're not doing anything on Washington, or are you?
No, not,
that'd be fine.
and that section wouldn't interfere with Third Street, so.
Yeah, it should be okay. And on the third closure?
Okay,
We're done. Thank you.
that's it for yours with those changes to your permit. Yeah.
You're okay with those changes?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So on the next closure, it says, that 3rd Street is going to be closed until 1 PM? I thought we were only going to allow 3rd Street to be closed in the morning.
The 3rd Street, they're going to start at 9:30. They're going to let the runners go through, and by 10:15, the runners will be off and running, and it'll be back open. So it's only going to be for about half an hour to 40 minutes, bingo, and then it'll be
'Cause it
open.
says
And everything
until-
will be back open by 10:15.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but it says
Yeah.
it'll be closed until
Yeah,
1 PM.
Yeah, that's what we negotiated. And then all the second races, the 5K and everything, will move up on 2nd Street, and then they'll have their activities up on 2nd Street. So the only time that 3rd Street will be blocked will be in front of Don Esther's, where they'll start the 10K runners from there, and as soon as they leave, then they will come back and finish on 2nd Street. So it'll be just for about 40 minutes where you're starting them off.
Yeah, that's what we wanted, I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I had.
Anybody else?
Are you going to have all these breads there? Ma'am? Are you going to have all these breads here?
Not all of them.
Okay.
We do
All right.
seasonal breads, and jalapeno cheese cornbread is one of our best sellers. Sweet potato bread that I created is, well, it's really first. Pineapple coconut with rum flavor is like 3rd. Apricot. I mean, whatever's in season we do, and then we do.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for having us.
We put that on you for a leash, Jolene. Okay.
I just broke it.
Let's see.
Am I missing a piece?
What else was pulled? G.
D was pulled.
D.
D. Fireworks.
Authorizing San Juan Bautista Preschool to sell fireworks on 4th of July.
Mr. Mayor? I just wanted to ask on the basis of this new fire contract, I believe neither Hollister nor the county allows fireworks. Is that correct?
What San Juan does.
It might potentially be an issue. I don't know. Maybe this year we could go ahead and approve it, but it might be a consideration that if we're going to be part of the county and part of the city of Hollister in our fire protection,
Hollister
we might.
allows safe and sane fires.
Do they?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I wasn't sure. I thought they both.
Sell them at Kmart. Yeah.
Okay, I take it back. I take it back then.
Is this the same-
Hollister does allow them?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, I thought they didn't.
There's other fireworks that aren't allowed.
Yeah, but we know, the crazy kind.
That's the ones we get here.
Yeah.
Is this the same company that does it every year?
Preschool.
Yeah. My name is Joanne Delamajori. I'm with American Promotional Events, and I've worked with San Juan Preschool for over 20 years in supplying the fireworks to them for their major fundraiser. We also do sell fireworks, or supply, I should say, in Hollister, and I work with the Hollister Fire Department, and there's 12 fireworks stands in Hollister. And they're all sponsored by nonprofit organizations for youth and civic betterment. So Hollister does sell fireworks, and they have for years also.
Yeah, I was mistaken on that. I take it all back.
Okay.
Even though we had a fire started by fireworks up by our house after 4th of July. Blame the kids for that.
In the
one.
20-plus years that we've dealt with San Juan, the preschool, one year there was a grass fire, and we met after the 4th of July. We met with the fire chief, and he showed us what caused that grass fire, and we told him we would never sell that product in San Juan again, and or Hollister, and we don't. We don't sell anything that, or allow, my company does, but I personally do not allow those things that go on the ground.
The spinners.
In Hollister, San Juan.
I think, well, then I don't know where they got it, because I think that's what started the fire up by us.
There's many areas around, even a lot of people go to Las Vegas. They're sold there. And
We
Salinas.
live on a hill, they like to roll them down the hill. They think
Oh,
that's
yeah.
fun.
Okay.
There could be a problem. Does that take care of the
Yes,
question
ma'am.
now?
Takes
Thank
care
you.
of my question, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
I'm good with it.
Okay, we have to go backwards here. Need a motion to approve item C, 4C, street closures, with the changes
Move
that
to
were made.
approve, or, I'll make a motion to approve
With the changes,
with the changes.
okay.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Item 4D, approve resolution authorizing San Juan Bautista Preschool to sell fireworks.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now, I lost track of what was pulled.
G,
G. G was pulled.
That sheet for G.
I don't.
I will have those for the next meeting, to be able to finish in the minutes. Oh,
oh, no, that's
Oh,
H.
no, G is
G's
the,
one before that.
I
Um,
have You didn't get this one?
I just wanted to ask if we needed
I missed that page.
anything for George parking in, I guess you'd call it an exception zone, like the electric vehicle station. Do we need to have that on there as
65 for everything.
an item?
Handicap, and that's 290.
This list is a carryover from the list we have been working on working from over the last 18 to 24 months. And I don't know the answer to that. If you want to include that, I guess we can. But it wouldn't be specifically listed, at least the way this is formed, on the new citation. But there are spaces there will be spaces on the new citation, I'm told, for an officer or a parking enforcement person to fill in,
So they could just write that
just
in?
mark it in, yeah.
Yeah, we
'cause
do
it's-
have a space for it.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
because
sure.
it's not a big issue. I just wondered how other cities
You should have
handle.
asked the deputy when he was here who he was writing a ticket to. He said somebody saw him writing a ticket over there.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that, just leave it a blank and they can fill it in with that or anything else that they feel is a violation that's not listed here?
yep.
Okay by me?
Who pulled G?
Me?
Didn't you? Did you pull G?
No.
Oh, she
pulled all.
Okay. So I need a motion to approve resolution number 2013.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
I think it's 12.
12.
We had a couple before that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve resolution 2013, setting parking fines pursuant to San Juan Bautista Municipal Code, 7-4-700. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, and, I pulled H because we don't have the minutes.
Yeah.
So I guess we don't have to do anything there. Or do we? Okay. Moving on. Action items. 5A, consider selection of CMAP representative.
I'm sorry, I don't think I put a report in there. I was given word that Luis Candelaria stepped down as CMAP representative, and the suggestion was made by Kathy Bisbee to, I guess there's one individual, Al Strobel, but I need to get more background information on him. I was wondering if anybody knew that name?
Is he from San Juan?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Does he live in San Juan?
That's the impression I got, because they wanted a San Juan rep.
I think he lives in
Aromas?
place.
Aromas?
Aromas?
No.
Los Angeles?
Gilroy?
No,
San Diego?
no, so I didn't eat dinner. My brain is kind of fried. No,
deserve
the housing
that.
development out here.
Oh, Rancho Larry?
Oh, Rancho Larios.
Yeah, I would suggest that you might want to think about, since this is a representative from San Juan to CMAP, that you might want to think about someone who's representing you. I think Al Strobel will be a good, is a great guy and will do a good job.
Was this posted at all?
No, I haven't posted, I just received this.
Okay, why don't we put it off until next meeting? Post it and see if we get any volunteers.
I ran into Luis at the post office this morning, and he said, "Oh, I was going to call you." Yeah, I said, "Yeah, I heard." And he said, and this is just his perception, that he didn't feel that the board cared enough about San Juan. And he also said that too much of the activity was involving fundraising, and he didn't want to do that. So, in light of Bob's comment about this fellow not living in San Juan and Luis's comment, maybe we should try to find somebody who's a city resident.
Okay. Well, we can direct the city clerk to...
But either way, we should know a little bit more about whoever we appoint
post,
before we appoint them.
and accept, I guess, applications for the position. Okay.
And I have a speaker card by Rachel Ponce.
One thing that, when it was brought up that that person that was suggested lived at Rancho Larios, I thought about, at one time I talked with Trish about my concerns about CMAP and how the meeting is televised and all of that, and she said she doesn't get it because she doesn't have cable. And I thought, well, maybe that should be a prerequisite of the person that will be representing us, is someone that will be seeing CMAP. Because not everybody, I know that at one time a person that lived on Flint Road, we were talking about Channel 17, and she didn't know anything about it because she doesn't get cable. So I think it should be somebody that receives cable to be able to really help out San Juan in contributing about San Juan to CMAP.
Okay. We can make that a stipulation. You have to have charter cable.
Well, actually, it's streamed on the internet, so you don't have to have cable to see the meeting.
Scratch that.
You guys that know how to do all that stuff.
What's internet?
We'll just make it a prerequisite that you have to actually watch.
Okay, moving along. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Mayor, at one point I did get a suggestion, and it fell through my own personal cracks, that we asked Luis Candelaria if he would like to make a presentation to the city. And I never did that. Do you think that that would be helpful for this?
To be very honest, I didn't even know we had a representative on CMAP, and I didn't even know who it was. I've never seen.
That's why it might have been.
I've never seen a presentation other than.
It might have been useful had I asked him to do a presentation. It could have been tonight.
Well, he quit. But seems to me like there was somebody here making a presentation one time, a year or so ago.
I think
But it was the director or
manager.
something.
Yeah, I
Right?
mean, because of his
Kathy
unique
Bisbee.
perspective that you mentioned.
Well, I
It would be
said
nice
what
to
he
get his
told me.
comments and see what he's,
I said what he told me about
oh,
it.
that's it.
I don't know what more you want to know.
Oh, okay.
We still need to replace him because he's not going to go back. So,
Okay.
All right.
you know.
Okay, moving along. 5B, consider resolution 2013 to accept recology report for the annual rate adjustment notification report.
Finally got to you.
Good evening, Mayor Bach, members of the council. This is
Obviously, as it says, it's the annual rate notification from Recology under the terms and conditions of the contract. I just am here to answer any questions you may have, and Steve Lucetti from Recology is here as well if you have any questions for Recology.
It's going up very little.
3.15.
But,
Question?
we got something in, yes.
This is going to happen anyway? You're
Well,
just
it's in your contract, yes.
Yeah, I mean, this is not something we have to improve for it to take place, right?
I don't think so, but I didn't set this up yet.
I think I saw that wording in here someplace. So you're just here to answer questions?
Yes.
Better stated, you don't set the rates.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions for Mandy?
Well, while you're here, how come we get charged for green trash when a lot of other places don't seem to charge for green trash?
When we went out to bid, that was the desire of this council, the Hollister City Council, and the County Board of Supervisors, that it be excluded, because at that time, the number of individuals that stepped forward said, I either have a gardener who takes it away, or I don't use that kind of service. Please don't put that in my rate and make my rate more.
Oh, so the overall rates would have been more had
Yes.
we not separated it out. Thank you for clarifying that.
Anything else? Okay, entertain a motion to approve resolution 2013-13?
So moved.
15?
Yeah.
To accept the annual rate adjustment notification report by San Benito County Integrated Waste Management. Has been moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Motion approved. Thank you, Ben. Okay. Okay, item
Oh, okay. Oh, boy. This is this.
5C, consider resolution adopting rules and regulations for connecting to city water services pursuant to section 6-4-15 of the municipal code.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, when we looked at the ordinance 6-4-15, it said that the council can establish the rules and rates. And when I prepared the stuff, I prepared it as a resolution. And City Attorney George has pointed out that we might want to consider establishing it because we wanted to codify these rules so that it will have longevity, that we should have done it as an ordinance. And I've handed out an ordinance. George has prepared the ordinance that reflects it. It's an ordinance of the City Council of the City of San Juan Bautista amending Article 1 of Chapter 6-4 of the San Juan Bautista Municipal Code and adding thereto Section 6-4-111 and 6-4-112 to require annexation and extraterritorial properties connecting to water services and imposing certain reconnection fees.
And it isn't so much that they're required to be adopted by ordinance, but if they are, then you codify them, they go in the municipal code, and they don't get lost. And they are fairly significant policies.
Because a resolution could get lost.
Well, a resolution sometimes finds its way into a binder someplace, and a fee binder or a policies binder, and oftentimes, especially in a small city, somebody comes in to apply for something and it's forgotten. So it's good to have it all in front of whoever's handling an application.
Now, this will not affect any existing user that has provided water service.
So they're pretty much exempt from now.
Because at the time of those connections, the extension of water service, there was no condition for annexation or payment of fees, or so.
Except that they can't increase
Yeah,
connections.
and then that's what we established in one of the sections there. This is that if they increase the meter size or increase the number of users there, then they will have to come back and make application.
And as a matter of process, you'd be introducing the ordinance this evening rather than adopting the resolution. So this would be first reading.
Because, I don't know how many of you are aware of it, but I can think of 3 different situations where one of them, we got ourselves in a real jackpot with repairing the line, and it's not even in the city. And so this is just the introduction of this ordinance.
Would be introduced and read by title only.
It'll come back next time for final passage.
Okay. Now, is it necessary to read this?
You
So,
can always,
George,
you can always.
you wrote this up when you saw
Yeah.
the
Any
resolution?
modifications for resolutions.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the procedures, you don't want to read the full ordinance. You would say is to introduce and read by title only,
Okay.
and that's just the heading.
Okay. So that's what we'll do. We'll introduce ordinance number 2013.
We don't give an ordinance number until we adopt it.
Oh, okay. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of San Juan Bautista amending Article 1 of Chapter 6-4 of the San Juan Bautista Municipal Code to add hereto sections 6-4-111 and 6-4-112 to require annexation of extraterritorial property connected to the water system service and to impose certain reconnection fees. And read by title only. You're smiling at me, George.
No, it's good. Wake up one of your
All
colleagues
right.
and make it.
Right.
Well, it answers all the questions I had about the ordinance, because I had some questions on the resolution, but the ordinance looks great, so I'll make a motion to approve.
To introduce.
Introduce, sorry.
Introduce.
Introduce. I wrote it right there, and then I said approve anyway.
You have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay, motion carried. Yeah, this is getting easier. Item 5D, request of council member Edge that the council consider additions to membership on the Strategic Planning Committee. God, I'm having a hard time saying
Maybe it is planning, not plan.
I guess so.
There's a brief report in here. Basically, the original committee was established by resolution. Future changes only require an action by the council. 2 of the original members that were put on by us by resolution indicated they didn't want to serve. And so we need to remove them. And then we want to add Beverly Meamber and Keenan Valdez, who would like to join and are already participating. And there may be more additions down the road. And maybe more removals. But for now, this is it.
You need a motion for that?
Yeah, she wanted to attend the next meeting, and then, because she didn't attend yet, and see what it's like before she agrees to serve.
Okay.
So we have to do one of these anytime somebody is added?
Yeah, but we don't have to do a resolution. We just have to make a motion, second, and pass it.
Yeah, because these look like great people.
Yeah.
So,
And just for clarification, Phil Esparza is going to continue to serve representing El Teatro Campesino. Keenan Valdez wants to also serve. And the theater went through this same strategic planning process, I think he said 3 or 4 years ago, for themselves. So Keenan's got some background that will be helpful.
good. Would you like to make a motion to that effect,
Yeah, I think
Mr. Edge?
both members would be great.
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay. Item 5E, consider water sewer rate increase per consumer price index percentage as provided in San Juan Bautista Municipal Code, Chapter 3-5-160.
Mr. Mayor and members of the council, as you recall, this was brought to you back in February 19th at our regular city council meeting to increase the rates. It was tabled after discussion with residents, and we're bringing it back before the end of the fiscal year so that we can gear up to go into our next fiscal year with a rate increase. We would like you to consider this. The recommendations, we recommend the City Council approve the adjustment at the rate of water and sewer in the amount of 1.7%. This rate will remain in effect for the year 2013-14.
Okay. Any speaker cards, Trish?
Yes, I'm trying as fast as I can.
Well, just get up there, Rachel. We know who you are. And by now, we know where you live, too. So.
Okay. Though I don't like raises, I guess I know we have to have them, but I really would like for when something like this comes up, for the council and the city manager be prepared to give us an outline of what this increase will be used on. This whole presentation was very general. I'd like to know what it's going to be used for and a timeline of when this increase will be used for. And I really would appreciate that kind of information. I don't think that it's unreasonable for the residents to know where their money's going to. And like I said, I don't like the raises. People are having a real hard time paying their water bill. And so I think that it's just, how can I say, a good public relations thing to give as much information on something like this as possible. Thank you.
And we can, when this comes up, we can analyze and give you a report on the enterprise funds, both sewer and water, of how the money's going to use. But basically, the 1.7% is just to keep abreast with the consumer price index of cost of energy going up to run the sewer treatment plant, the pumps and everything, and stay abreast so that we're revenue neutral. You know, it doesn't give us a lot of extra cash to go into some surplus or extra programs. It's just to stay our head above water.
And I think you brought up at one time before that this is the only time we can increase.
Yes.
We can't.
Yeah, we cannot
voluntarily increase.
Can't do this every month, but I think the residents should be aware that, as Roger said, energy costs, everything else is going up. We're faced with until we can get the sewer plant situation corrected, we're faced with approximately $3,000 a month fine from the water board. And we need to maintain our reserves in case of some kind of an emergency. So I don't want to see the city get into a jackpot like it was several years ago where they had to take money out of the general fund to maintain the sewer and water systems. And the sewer and water, there's separate funds for them, and they're basically on their own. And I'd like to see that continue. And right now, we're in reasonably good shape. But
And Mr. Mayor, we might point out that in the several audits that we've prepared since 2008 is $1.8 million of general fund money was put into the thing, and we have to start addressing and paying that back to the general fund.
That's correct. Yeah. It's a lot of
That
things
sounds
that
like
went
an
on that
impossible
people were
task.
not aware of.
Well, just
Yeah,
do it
a lot of
in
money.
do it in
That's
do it in
gonna take a
steps.
while.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it was a shock to me when I heard that $1.8 million figure. So this, what does it come to? 52. 79 cents a month increase is, you know,
Based on our analysis, the average sewer and water bill, it'll result in between $2.07 to $2.40, depending on how much water you use per month for the resident.
yeah, the number I gave was just a minimum.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I'd like to agree with Roger that it is reasonable what Rachel's requesting, that when this comes up again, because we know it will, that we add because of these factors, we need to and lay it out a little bit better for the residents.
Well, we can show them how much our PG&E bill went up. I don't know about yours, but mine went up.
Yeah,
So-
even if that's all we can say, that it's not going to feed another project, it's actually just going for the energy costs, which in this case it sounds like it is. It's still nice to have it explained.
Any comments?
Absolutely.
No, I agree.
Okay, I need a motion to approve. I lost it here. What do I do with it?
Just approve the adjustment, huh?
Yeah.
So moved.
Yeah,
I make the
recommend it,
motion.
George?
The recommended adjustment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
approve the recommended adjustments. I
That's-
have a motion.
I did.
Second.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay. Item 5F, award reclaimed water extension project bid. This is part of that.
And Mr. Mayor, members of the council, as we went of the supplemental environmental project that was required by the Regional Water Quality Control Board, we prepared plans for Phase 1, which is the completion of the purple reclaimed water line that goes from approximately North Street to Downer Street. Was never completed with the original infrastructure. We went out to bid to complete that. We got several bids, and the low bid was NorCal Contractors out of Salinas in the amount of $35,799.50. And we've talked with them, we've looked at their projects, and we find that they're the lowest responsible bidder, and that we recommended that you award it to NorCal in the amount of $35,799.50.
Roger, is there a, are they available to start?
They will be starting within 3 weeks of award.
Any speaker cards, Drew?
Is there a cap on that? Is there going to be any?
$35,799.
That's
That's the bid, yeah.
Okay.
And this just takes care of part of it, right?
This is just a care part of it. We're out to bid now and advertising for the second phase, which is the swing elbow arrangements that will be at the Lux Library, the Valley Vista subdivision, and the Abbey Park. Now, the fourth receiver of that would be the cemetery. They're in a little different position because they do not need the swing elbow because their systems are independent from the domestic water, and so they'll have a dual system.
And did you, I don't know how much pipe you're going to have to run up to, oh, no, it's already there. That's right.
it's already there.
Yeah, that's right. It's already there. That's fence line. Okay.
I'm just curious because the top 4 bids are all within less than $1,000 of each other. And is NorCal local?
NorCal is from
Salinas.
Salinas.
From Salinas? Oh, I'd say that's pretty local. We're not going to find one in San Juan Bautista.
MPC, Don Chapes, and basically Northern Underground is out of the Bay Area. They're all local. Pacific is out of Tascadero. Robinson Moretti's at Gilroy. And Earth Paving is Hayward, I believe.
And nothing stood out about these other ones that are real close as that having more experience or specializing in this type of projects. NorCal was perfectly capable, and they're
Yes.
just a little bit less.
Yeah, and they submitted us a list of the projects that they've done in the area, and we checked with them. Reputable.
Great.
Mr.
Sounds
Mayor,
good to me.
I have a question. Hey, Roger, if you're putting a bid out to Lux Library in the park, wouldn't it be advantageous to have them do it all at once, or bid whoever's doing it, rather than bring equipment back in and out?
It's almost two separate functions.
Okay.
This is an underground pipe company, and the Swing Elbow is
Okay.
more, it's a contractor, but he specializes in different hardware and a cage and slab.
Okay, that's fine.
Almost an irrigation
It's
specialist.
almost an irrigation contractor rather than an underground contractor.
Okay, yeah, you answered my question.
Okay.
What do we know, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you asked the question.
We're learning
Yeah.
data.
Just because they're there putting on your roof
Paying
doesn't mean
attention.
they should necessarily put in your plumbing, too.
And we are paying attention to where we're spending our money. Okay, I need I guess a motion to authorize city manager to go ahead and award this bid.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
To adopt resolution 2013, what's the next number?
17.
17.
Yeah.
And this should be for the mayor to sign the contract.
Oh, boy. Get to sign some. Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve resolution number 2013-17. Award the contract for the San Juan Bautista Reclaimed Water Extension Project.
Well, I made the motion, who seconded it?
Right.
Where
All
was
in favor?
16?
Aye.
Okay. Opposed? Motion carried. We're getting there, kids. Okay, 5G, approve resolution
No, that was tabled.
authorizing...
We continue that.
Oh, that's right, that was continued. So, moving on, item 6, discussion items, community hall user policies.
So this is discussion only, non-action, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm one off.
Over the last several years, we've been tracking our costs and expenses to maintain that community center, and the use of the facilities have increased drastically, and our revenues have declined and been reduced. And so it is the primary duty. There are a number of nonprofit organizations using the facilities without paying any fees, coupled with the deferred maintenance. It's costing us quite a bit of money. And I've attached some current policy agreements and what we're currently paying, and then I've also attached a memorandum from Michelle Martinez, our finance account clerk, and she has tracked the various costs of and the impacts, and coupled with the other fact that we have done an analysis of our PG&E, and pass that around about down there, and you can see from the PG&E, but just let me rephrase. The maintenance periodically is that we have the janitorial services that we go in each week, about 4 hours a week, and that results in a cost. We have to basically every once a month do some maintenance and polish the floors and wax it. And then there is the floor maintenance. We recognize that floor is going to have to be refinished about once every 12 to 13 years, or maybe sooner. And that's cost estimate is about between $20,000 and $25,000 to sand it and finish it. And if you amortize that on a yearly cost of about $2,000 or a monthly cost of about $153, then your tables and chairs are wearing out, and we're down to bare minimum now. And so I've extrapolated a cost of about $41 a month that we should be putting away for chairs and replacements. And then there's the application that roof maintenance, painting, and stairs and electrical, gas that we passed out here. And it all adds up that the bottom line is that
We're losing.
we're losing money everywhere. And you can see from our sheet just in the PG&E there that the number of nonprofit users are 151 this last year, and the paying customer is only 15. And, and just the gas and energy costs. I'm not saying is that we should charge the nonprofits the same price that the other ones are, but I'm saying is that we should really look at some type of a system that's fair and equitable, yet getting some of the nonprofits to pay a proportionate share so that they're buying in and investing in that facility where it's going to be there for them in perpetuity. And that's the key to my analysis, is that that there's some balance between everybody should be paying their fair share, and keeping it abreast. Michelle came up with a recommendation of $25 per use, and that would generate about $3,800 a year.
You feel her numbers are reasonable?
Pretty reasonable, yeah.
Well,
Now, I would say is that this is a discussion item, and what we could do is and my recommendation, and that's a follow of what Rachel says, is you got to be open and transparent. Is let's propose this, and we'll send this out to the nonprofits and let them think about it, and they can give us input and stuff, and see how it's going to affect their bottom dollar, because a lot of them nonprofit, they don't have money, but the $25 use is very minimal.
Roger, that's, what, 10, 12 times a month that a nonprofit uses that building. What are these? Which ones are?
A variety of them. Trish has a list of them from
There's about 4 clinical filters,
Tai Chi, Jovenes de Antanos, the food, seniors, yeah.
And we used to have community pantry, but I think they relocated to
Reload,
there were 4 were down to 3.
yeah.
And they use it 4 times a month?
Yes.
So that's 12 or 2, okay.
Pinnacles is 1 time a month. Pinnacle filters use it 1 time.
Okay.
For the profit bearing, it's $500 plus the $200 cleaning deposit, and if they leave it in good shape, then they get that back,
Do we have a cleaning deposit from the nonprofits?
It says 200 here.
Yeah.
Yes, we did put that into effect, that they would give us $200, and as we depleted it, we would bill them to always keep it at a $200 reserve.
Because I had heard one time that, I don't know which one, somebody left the restrooms really bad. I don't know.
And we have experienced some pulling some tables across the chairs and some marking, and it's resulted in some extra additional work on our maintenance crews to get those out.
And the crew reports to Michelle on when
Any
these,
damages or
anything that should be taken off the cleaning process.
Cleaning that.
So that part of it that we approved a while back has been working on the deposit.
We also implemented recently, and we've put one maintenance man in charge, and we have required a pre-inspection with the renters where they walk through, and then the initial, and then a post-inspection after completion.
I have 2 questions, Mr. Mayor. One is, do we want to charge them $25 per month, whether they're using it once, twice, or 4 times during that month? For one.
Or each time.
Or
Was
each
Michelle's
time.
recommendation?
I think
25
probably
per use.
for the nonprofits, the 25 is
$25 per
fine.
use.
And also, my second question is,
That was 25 per use.
yeah, it's per use.
oh, it is per use,
Per
it's
use.
not per month. Okay, so it's 25 per use, excuse me. Okay, so 25 per use. So that would get steep for things that go on more than that. Because they don't charge for those Tai Chi classes, do they? It's all given free, and they go in there 4 times a month, so they'd be paying $100 a month.
Yeah, but if they have 12 people and each one pays $2, it's covered. So
you know, they have to set something, I mean, like Roger said,
So
we
we're
can't
suggesting
let
that
this
they
thing.
charge the people coming in.
Yeah,
They can
In order to
do it
pay
any
these
way they
fees,
want,
yeah.
but I think if they're going to use the building and
Just the
there's
cost
electricity.
just the cost of using the thing is for
Yeah.
the lights and heating during this winter. It just,
Yeah.
it
And
makes
something
worse.
like 20 would not, you don't think 20 would cover it?
Well, that's,
Because
Why-
I want to cut breaks to the nonprofits wherever I can, because it's a community center. You know, a lot of cities purposely
No,
support their community
and I
center.
absolutely agree with you. You know, I'm just saying there has to be a balance, and
Yeah.
they have to pay something, but how much that something is really a discretion of what the council wants.
Well, like last night, the Boy Scouts were over there doing they're in their uniforms. They don't use it that often, but, okay, are we going to charge them?
Same thing.
Yeah, I mean, they
Everything.
can't, my sons, you can't afford, people can't afford that. You know,
Not
the
even
groups.
20?
Well, I mean, you know, you keep,
It goes
I
back.
like your suggestion of maybe a small $25 for the nonprofits to see how it goes, or something where they can gradually, we can
You mean
walk.
It goes back to like a Boy Scout thing, is they could start doing fundraisers and say, hey, this
Yeah.
is a facility, and you know.
Okay.
So out of the 15, we got about $7,500 in revenue on that, and then so our cost of like $5,000 a year minus what we pay for our PG and through there is not enough then.
Yeah.
well, you figure that we got a lot of grant money to restore that building,
Yeah.
and luckily we've got that, or it'd be a wreck right now. I mean,
Yeah.
and
And that,
but you can't let it just keep. You know, it's hard to say, but you know, if these people went anyplace else, they certainly wouldn't get something for $25 a night, a day. You know,
and my biggest fear is that 4 or 5 years down the line, we say, hey, we need $25,000 to refinish that floor. And that has to come out of your general fund budget.
Yeah. And we can't charge them an amount per year in order to get them to pay up front if we don't know how many times they're going to use it. So, because I thought we were talking per month at first, so I said, well, can we give them a break for, if they give us the whole thing for the year or something? But I can understand us doing this. I would rather go with something like 20. It just sounds better to me for nonprofits than 25. I don't know. You'd still, if you still had 150 nonprofits use it, you'd still get $3,000, and that is twice what your PG&E bill. I don't know. That just seems a little more reasonable to me.
But they're doing most of the wear and tear. They're doing it 10 to 1.
I understand that, but it's a community center.
Yeah.
It's meant to be used by people who can't afford, you know, to give away food somewhere else. And I wonder if we won't lose some of them to a church that might give them a room for free to do it, or that sort of thing too, which, you know, is okay. Then we
well,
wouldn't
if
have
they
the wear
did
and tear
that,
for
then
them.
we wouldn't have any PG&E and wear and tear.
Yeah, no, I understand that. So what I'm saying, though, is if we lowered it to 20 and I'm using the 150 uses that's here, and saying that we get 3,000, well, that's not true. If we don't get 150 uses, we wouldn't get 3,000. But like you said, we wouldn't have as much PG&E and wear and tear either, so.
I think we ought to just stick with the 25 that Michelle recommended. I don't think $5 off that is going to make any difference to them or us. But she recommended that amount, so why don't we go with it and try it?
Let us set the next motion into there is let's send out notices to the nonprofit, and and asking them for their input, and then I'm sure you're going to hear back from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we heard from them last time we tried to charge them.
Well,
Well, the thing of it is, like Roger and Tony said, yes, it's a community center, but who's going to maintain it?
No, I understand.
Are we going to let the taxpayers maintain it, or should we have the people who use it at least contribute a little bit towards that?
Yeah.
See, my concern is like Roger says, and then 10 years down the line here, we haven't done anything, and we're not going to find another grant to restore it again.
Yeah,
This is
I just
last
want to
year.
keep it as low
And it's
as
just
low
as-
as possible. If that 25 was actually 2150,
Yeah.
I don't
And a
see
good-
why we would charge 25.
And all I
don't
could say
know.
is this last year, even though it had been renovated and everything, we found the leaks in the roof, and we had to get up there and repair it.
Yeah.
And then I had to put a roof hatch in, and it cost over $1,000 to, and that was just unexpected, but we had to do it.
Yeah, and when the building was rehabbed, there was a lot of work that we weren't able to do. We got a lot done with the money we had, but there was still work left.
It's a good thing you had Pat Garrett running it.
Yeah.
Got a speaker here.
Did he turn in the speaker card?
They're all used
Yes,
up.
Bob.
Because this is a community resource, it might be an opportunity for nonprofits or for the San Juan Committee to actually find sponsors for some of these events that we find valuable in the community, a way for us to support, to let the Tai Chi class know that we want them here, or that the food service, they're providing something for all of us, really. Doing us all a favor by making sure that that is available. So maybe there's a link that can be made there with the San Juan Committee to find sponsors for those activities.
For the Chamber Committee.
Good point, yeah.
Thank
Sponsorship
you.
is nice, yeah. Partnering and sponsorship, yeah.
Any further discussion on this?
So we're gonna put it out to the nonprofits and get feedback.
And are we gonna have a number
Either
on
that,
it?
or we can put it on the agenda for next month, that we're going to establish this policy of charging.
And give them a chance to comment.
I prefer the sending a letter.
Well, we could do
Initially.
both, let them know that we're considering,
We're going to
This.
consider it next month, and,
get back to us.
yeah.
Or
Roger,
come.
on your letter, were you going to have the amount on there that we're considering?
Okay, well then we'll direct Roger to send a letter out to the nonprofit users of the community center, and then, but also put this on the agenda for next month as a possible fee.
There are other avenues too. Is you could increase the rate of the for-profit people, and raise that. But there's a diminishing return as you go up. Hollister is experiencing that, where the cost of the Veterans Memorial Building was so outrageous that the use had just gone down. And so there's a balance. That's what they call incremental use. Is when the price gets up too high, then nobody buys it or uses it, and so.
Initially,
balance.
I think we thought with the rates that we were setting, that we were going to get enough use of it by for-profits that it would cover the nonprofits. But it
Well, I
sure
don't
didn't
think-
this year.
I don't think a lot of people are throwing, what do they call them?
Coupled with the economic downturn that we had in the last 4 years, it's had a lot to do with it.
Those, I can't think of the name of them. The
Kings and Meadows?
yeah. Anyhow.
I've been to some
Okay.
weddings and
Seemed like the
birthday
one
parties
month,
there.
the 1 month it was used the most, the PG&E was half the rate it usually was each month.
Okay.
Yeah, out of those 15, I've been to at least three or possibly 4 events.
Well, you could have paid $25 each time you went. Okay.
Hey, I was a guest.
Okay. Moving on. Item 7, comments. City Council. Start with you, Jolene.
That was a nice presentation by Kim, and I'm glad to know that things seem to be picking up here in San Juan, and that the San Juan Committee is doing a lot to make that happen. That's all I've got.
Andy?
I have none.
Robert?
The rib cook-off went very well. I talked to a lot of vendors through there, and they said they were up about 15% this year.
Great.
So hopefully we can see some of that here. Other than that, that's all I have.
Yeah, I'll echo Robert. I don't know. I don't know how to count people except count all the legs and divide by 2 or something, but there was 20, 30,000 people in this town over the weekend. I mean, I had quite a long talk with Jason Williams and his mother, and I even suggested to them that they might possibly want to think about doing something else, like not this 4th of July, but next 4th of July, chili cook-off, something, let them come up with. Because they have all those vendors that go around to all their shows.
They follow them.
My theory is if you bring 20,000 people into town and 1% of them have never been to San Juan before, that's 200 people that saw San Juan and they might come back.
So that's right.
So, Roger, any comments?
None.
You don't want to tell us about your vacation? No. George, any comments? No. Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Hey, this was a good one, too.